I'll just ignore. I'm not content with the content. I want more. I'm not content with the content. I want more.
All I'm saying is, the government has a zombie response plan.
Well, of course. It'd be dumb
Of course
not
they
to.
do. You have to be ready for anything.
What do you mean? Do they have a dragon response plan? Just in case a dragon wakes up?
That's the project.
Do they have a unicorn response plan?
What projects do you think these interns get?
Welcome, everybody, to Hooligan Radio. My name is Josh, and I love movies.
My name's Isaiah, and I love video games.
And my name's Zach, and I love, I guess, the creepy stuff.
Nice.
And we got a lot to talk about today. I don't know about you guys, but I'm still pretty sore. We all competed in a local event that my cousin had at his house called the Beer Olympics, and we were all every team was a different country. Our team was the Soviet Union.
For the motherland.
For the motherland.
And we came in third place, which I think was pretty good for our first year.
We brought home that bronze.
Oh, yeah. We killed the game.
But basically, it was a string of athletic events that involved drinking, and most of all, more than getting drunk, I got so sunburnt. My shoulders are still just completely red, and I feel awful.
I'm just covered in grass and tart burns. And truthfully, I had no idea it was going to be that athletic going in there. And I walked into the backyard, and there's just trails and hoops and everything. I'm just oh my goodness.
Yeah, you were wearing flip-flops.
Yeah, I thought I was just going to be drinking and flipping a cup.
Yeah, man, I put my body on the line. The competitive side got the hold of me, and I slammed my chest into the ground to beat this girl in an event, and so I feel like death.
And Haley pointed this out when I got home. I don't know what this giant cut on my arm is or where it came from, but it hurts. So
nice.
I think that was all of us the following morning. I don't remember this.
Yeah, also my younger brother was on our team, R.I.P. He died that day. When I left, after we got our medals, he didn't even make it to the closing ceremonies. There were 5 events, and by the time we got to the 4th event, he was clearly not there mentally. He had checked out, and we came in 3rd. I went to go give him his medal before we left, and he was just laying face down on the floor, and I had to give it to his girlfriend. So I hope he's doing all right.
I hope we hear from him soon again.
Yeah. But yeah, there's been a ton of stuff going on the past few weeks. We talked about the movie Teen Titans Go to the Movies a little bit previously and our opinions on that show. I don't think any of us actually saw the movie. I didn't.
I wanted to, but nobody would go with me.
I refused to.
I didn't see it. But there is a mid-credit scene that we are going to spoil right now, so if you really care, you don't. But if you really do care, then time codes will be down below. But there's a mid-credit scene after Teen Titans Go, which basically features the original iteration of the Teen Titans. They show up, and they basically act as if they were talking into a camera or something like that to the audience, and they basically say something along the lines of, I think we found a way back, something along those lines. So it kind of sets up a door opening for the original Teen Titans coming back. Now, is it going to be on Cartoon Network? Is it going to be on the DC streaming service we talked about?
No, I didn't even consider that.
That would be devastating.
Because I think that might be a very strong possibility.
We found our way back. No.
What I want to know is, let's say it does go to the streaming service, are they going to eventually have Titans, Teen Titans, and Teen Titans Go all on the same streaming platform?
Every single fucking age group you can imagine. Just getting it all.
They just have a category on their streaming service that says Teen Titans, and it just has 4 different titles.
And there's just going to be the movies afterwards.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think of the actual scene itself? I thought it was pretty dope.
I think it's pretty interesting. Good. I wonder how they're going to connect the two, since in Teen Titans Go they reference the original.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were kind of using Teen Titans Go to gauge curiosity about the original Teen Titans, and if somehow the characters from Teen Titans Go are going to do something that turned them back into the original Teen Titans, or if those two things are going to run at the same time.
Yeah. I think maybe, this is just off the top of my head, but from just seeing the way they did the scene, because they have referenced in the show before how they're a reboot of, Teen Titans. I think that maybe they'll bring them back almost like in a crossover episode type deal, and then eventually have Teen Titans just returning as their own show. But unfortunately, I really do strongly believe that this was a promotion for the DC streaming service. I think they're bringing this back to get people to subscribe. Whether or not they had already had this in there before the Titans trailer bombed, I think that reaction being so negative even more so makes them be like, okay, we got to bring back the original Teen Titans as well.
Do you know that if they do this, there's going to be a legion of hackers that are ready to rip that content and put it on YouTube? And I will not commend that, but I might indulge in it.
Yeah, are torrents still a thing? I haven't torrented anything in like 5 years.
Ever since people got literal computer STDs from torrenting, I had never.
Oh, okay.
I haven't done it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done it since.
There was at one point where it's just like, does this outweigh the risk? No.
Also considering the fact that Zach and I probably have $2,000 computers,
Yeah.
and the chance that they could just be $2,000 paperweights
Yeah.
are...
Not risking that.
It's fine. I'll just pay for the content.
Yeah.
It's cheap now.
I just won't pay for the content, but I'll just go to someone's house who does.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's going to be always with any content, people ripping it, people, bootlegging it, but will the original Teen Titans make you guys even consider signing up for the DC service if we're to come back with new episodes?
No.
Other movie news, there was a new Venom trailer. So, I mean, first off, before we even get into the trailer, what do you guys think of Venom just overall? Are you fans of Venom, or do you not give a shit?
I'm a huge fan of Venom.
Okay.
And Carnage and the whole symbiote ordeal. But the movie trailers I've seen so far have not really gotten me super interested in seeing this movie, but super interested in seeing what happens after this movie is done.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Like, you're more interested in what is going to happen because of this movie rather than the movie itself, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I think that I'll actually talk about the trailer now. The new trailer, it really felt like it showed me like a 3-second clip of every scene in the movie. Mm-hmm. So now I feel like I know what's going to happen in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, I'm a huge Tom Hardy fan, so I'm super ready for this movie. I'm excited to see it. I guess I'm somewhat of a Venom fan. He's just like mediocre and middle of the road, but I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, it's not that I don't like Venom, I don't really care. I'm like, whatever.
I don't like. They're probably gonna explain it in the movie, but like, I just don't see a point to him having his own movie, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it was because I feel like they
can make money off of it.
They think it's a big enough property to make money off of it. Mm. But
single-handedly, without like throwing like a Spider-Man in there or like another character of Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. I don't know how that's going to really work out.
And I think this movie, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be rated R. I think it will be PG-13. And I think there's a great chance that a lot of what could be cool violence and brutality from Venom is probably going to be pretty neutered down. Yeah. Me and Alex were talking about at the end of the trailer, he calls the guy a turd. He's like, you're going to be like a turd in the wind. And we were thinking like, I really hope that that's just edited for like, TV, and in the movie he's going to say like a piece of shit or something. Because like, it just sounded so lame.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm a big Venom fan. I was a big Venom fan whenever the Spider-Man games were a big deal. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I don't know how this movie's going to treat Venom. I think that, it's not being made by Disney.
No, it's made by Sony.
Yeah, it's made by Sony, and it sounds like, from what I heard people talking about, it might be Sony trying to build this character up to sell to Marvel. Yeah. Or show that there is interest in this character so they can sell it.
Black Panther, speaking of Disney, it was already the third highest domestic movie ever, but in a kind of a milestone this past weekend, because somehow it's still in theaters, it just crossed the $700 million mark, which the only two other movies that do that domestically are Star Wars The Force Awakens, which made like almost $1 billion in the US, and then Avatar made like over $700 million.
Didn't they announce Avatar 2?
Yeah, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's go.
Yeah, which because of the Fox deal, Disney now also owns.
Oh my god!
So I thought that was really cool that it was able to pass that mark, because it was at $699 million for like a couple months, because it was getting like 50,000 a week. It's in like 4 theaters, like still going.
Yeah.
I think Disney kind of goosed it, like threw it back into like 25 theaters, to get it over the 700 million mark. But I thought that was pretty neat. And then in one other last piece of movie news, I canceled my MoviePass finally.
Wow.
Yay.
I heard that there was some drama.
Yeah, so for anyone unaware, so a couple weeks ago, it was the week that Mission Impossible came out.
Yeah.
That Thursday night, MoviePass just stopped working. If you went to go check into a movie, it just said no, like it just didn't work. So it turns out it's because the company legitimately ran out of money. They could not buy tickets.
I heard that they actually had to borrow money.
Yes, they had to borrow money from essentially a loan shark,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And use that to buy tickets. So now there was a whole bunch of changes going on for a couple of weeks. They blocked Mission Impossible, so you couldn't see it on MoviePass. They blocked Christopher Robin, you couldn't see that.
What?
And their peak
I'm not gonna lie,
pricing.
Christopher Robin looks terrifying. That's a nightmare fucking machine.
So they just came out today, and I canceled it when that happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I have access to it until my month runs out. But they just announced today that they're getting rid of the peak pricing, no more peak pricing, and they're getting rid of the ticket verification. You'll be able to see basically every movie again, but you are now limited to 3 movies a month. So it's $9.95 for 3 movies a month. Which, do you still save money? Yes, if you see 3 movies a month. But it's kind of like, what's the point? You know what I mean? And their rationale was, well, 85% of our users only see an average of 3 movies a month. It's our small 15% that are seeing 20 movies a month that are, costing all this money. And it's like, that's true. I probably don't see more than 3 movies a month with my MoviePass. But I pay for it because I know that I can. Because I know that on any day I can go see a movie if I want.
Yeah.
So now you're telling me I can only see 3 movies. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm paying $10 a month to possibly save $20 and like have this whole hassle. So I canceled it. My girlfriend canceled it. Alex canceled it. So I think it's still going to survive, but it's just, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
I saw on the internet the other day, it was like somebody was tweeting, like with the quote tweet of like the MoviePass drama at Elon Musk, and like, could you please save MoviePass? And I don't know if it was actually Elon Musk's account or like a parody account, and just said no.
Yeah, I think it was him, actually. I do think it was him.
I was like, damn. In gaming news, there is a company out there, they're called Shadow. They have done something that I was talking about earlier, where they've basically bridged the gap between having a gaming PC on any possible platform. So what they're saying is you could remote into this gaming PC and play from anything that has a screen. You go from your laptop, from your computer, you can remote into it's like up to date. Almost they like swap your hardware out every time it gets an upgrade. And what's really cool about it is it's $40 a month, which comes out to what? What's the math on that?
What, a year?
Oh, you're trying to do a year?
It'd be like $480 a year.
Yeah, so it's like almost $500 a month.
A year.
Oh yeah, a year. A year. My bad. Which would be, like I had said earlier, 4 years, and you have like the same general amount people pay on buying a gaming PC that much, which is crazy to me because they keep it up to date for you. So in my instance, my hardware is not even 2 years old, and I'm still pretty much up to date because I bought everything like generally cutting edge. But I know within the next 2 years, I'm going to be like, oh, look at all those cool graphics cards I want, and that's another $800.
Rebuild the entire thing.
Yeah, $800 to $1,000 to put into my computer. When somebody who's considering building a computer right now could just wait until Shadow's in your area, because right now it's only on the West Coast. They're actually expanding to all of the United States. Well, most of the United States this year. Or I think it's the fourth quarter and the first quarter of next year. Which is absolutely crazy to me. They say that they have like an AI that will handle latency for you so that it like judges how you would lag and tries to like compensate for it, and it does really well. All the customer reviews are 4 or 5 stars so far, which is insane to me because my computer doesn't run at 4 or 5 stars, and I built it myself. Like,
my question was, reading the article, so you get this computer, like, what games do they have? Is it you can play any game? So the way that it normally works is in other countries there's gaming cafes, and you sign into your accounts on these other services. So for example, Blizzard,
I'll sign into my Blizzard account where I own all of the Blizzard games. And if I sign in on any computer, I can install those Blizzard games and play from my account.
Okay.
So if you're renting this computer, Blizzard, it's a Battle.net and Steam and Twitch offers games now,
Yep.
and Origin, all these other things.
So, like, I could
You can
sign
follow.
into my Steam account from this Shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's cool about it is you don't have to use it for gaming alone. So, for example, if you needed a powerful PC, you could rent that PC and do video rendering on it. The thing that gets it's interesting to me, and there's a lot of questions about it, but a lot of them you're not going to get answers because that's like their business model, and if they gave it away, then somebody else could duplicate it or try to. They're not going to build a PC for each person, so how are they going to run multiple people on each of these PCs?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Well, they're
keep
going to have
data
to
storage
They're
for
going to
all
have
of
to
it.
build a PC for each person, right?
No.
Not necessarily.
I mean, you're renting the PC, though, for yourself.
Yeah, but you can remote into like a computer under your own profile.
Yeah. So you know how like whenever we went to elementary school, multiple people signed into that computer, but sometimes your stuff would be saved on it. Computers now could run multiple users at once. It just depends on how much of a load they could take. So for example, a lot of the games that people play today are not super demanding. So I think with my computer, if I had the one step higher processor, all three of us could probably play Fortnite on my computer at the same time.
Wow.
And they have the processor that is like industrial grade steps above me. So I don't know how many people they would get per PC, but
Yeah.
it's fascinating to me that they're like are trying to keep them up to date also,
Yeah.
which is just making it so like, why even own a computer?
Yeah.
I was thinking that they were going to make the way that they distribute the games all virtual and digital, like a streaming service. But for example, in the article it states that you could access their application through smart TVs, meaning the need for a console will start to just diminish rapidly if this Shadow thing actually goes over well with a larger audience.
So I finally actually have some news in like the creepy creature crypto realm.
I'm so excited to hear what you have to say.
And it has to involve with politics
Oh
in
my
Virginia.
god.
So I'm going to give the most quick, brief summary of this that I possibly can.
Okay.
So pretty much there's two people running for a seat in the Congressional District of Virginia, Leslie Cockburn and Denver Wiggleman. I'm going to go with Wiggleman
Okay.
in this.
I'm into it.
This district, also keep in mind, includes Charlottesville, which not too long ago, I think it's about a year ago, they had that pretty bad rally with...
The crazy white people?
Yeah, and then the person drove a car into the counter-protesters and killed
Yeah,
a guy
yeah.
and injured a lot more.
Interesting stuff going on down there.
Pretty much, Leslie Cockburn tweeted the other day that her opponent, Wiggleman, was caught on camera campaigning with a white supremacist, but that wasn't the only part of the tweet.
Holy shit.
So the second part of the tweet goes on to explain that her opponent has been exposed as a devotee of Bigfoot erotica and that we cannot have this kind of man on Capitol Hill.
Holy shit. No way.
Followed by a crudely sketched Bigfoot, which is supposedly from Wiggleman's private Instagram account.
Look at his abs. What?
With a huge sensor bar coming down from his crotch area to cover up his massive dog.
They call him Big Dog now. Oh no.
Oh my
So Wiggleman supposedly is actually a real big like Bigfoot enthusiast. He's gone on hunts for Bigfoot. He talks about Bigfoot a lot with a bunch of conspiracy, like people, like a lot of people doing science with it. So this isn't a shock to really him that it took this long to be found. But so Wiggleman has actually been like super interested in Bigfoot since he was like 10 years old. In one of his interviews, he was actually described an event where he was walking with his grandpa in the woods, which he quote and says, "Something mighty particular was in those woods that was hairy and large." And then he said ever since that day he's been interested in Bigfoot. He actually wrote a book as well called Bigfoot Exterminators, Inc. The partially cautionary, mostly true tale of Monster Hunt 2006.
What?
Which was also written with another article author from ESPN. And yes, that's the same ESPN that you're thinking.
Oh my god.
There's even, I was able to find an interview that he had where he talked about Bigfoot with one of his running mates, as well as like the interview people. And I have it right here that we can play it. I'll post it on the Twitter group as well.
Well,
this is Wiggleman.
Oh my gosh.
So I assume there's a Sasquatch coming.
There could be.
He's sort of a monkey.
He is sort of a monkey. Well, it depends on who you're arguing with, right? You know, there's 4 different major Bigfoot belief type systems. You know, you got the biological entity believers, who I call the BEs.
The BEs.
I'm going to do this. So, no, this is so.
They're like, oh, you're going into it.
Well, so I did research for 10 years.
His
on
campaign
Bigfoot
manager's just like,
because,
stop!
Listen, I'd love to pander to Bigfoot voters, but we're gonna talk about them right now.
That's Zach. Zach's a Bigfoot voter.
Just to let everybody know, I'm skeptical. But there's almost like this religious war between Bigfoot believers. You have the BEs, and I came up with this myself. So again, the biological entity believers who believe that Bigfoot's either descended from Gigantopithecus blackie, Matt, which is the big ape, or like Homo erectus.
Wow.
Can you say that?
It's a man, baby. So you have these differing ones, and even they hate each other because Bigfoot can attack you with infrasound like an elephant. I just want to let you know, or psychic terror vibes. Right?
Psychic terror vibes.
Trees so they can drag you into the woods and create baby Bigfoots. And then you have I'm
sure you just described a rape.
Who's protecting us from the Dracos in the 264 million year war, and
now we're bringing in aliens.
Long jumpers, right? They can jump in and out.
The
You can't see
long
them.
jumpers
Then you have
and the
Dracos, which is
Dracos.
sort of the Native American.
This is my kind of man.
Take you with his eyes and lead you into the woods and is a protector of the environment. And then you have the interstellar theory, which UFO is just like a Bigfoot hitchhiker, right? They drop him off. He's here like, hey, what's going on? And then he can beam up or down so you can't kill him. So you have all these Bigfoot belief systems.
What?
And I just found it incredible that they actually believe this. And I think that I love the fact that I'm fighting for the freedom to people. That I fought for that freedom, that you can believe in any type of Bigfoot that you want.
Okay, so we'll put that link in the description here. Definitely check out that full video. That's pretty insane.
Whoa!
You got to give him props from rounding that out at the end.
Yeah.
And I fight for the rights for everyone to believe in whatever Bigfoot they want.
All right, so now the question stands: which one are you guys?
What do you mean?
Out of the theories,
Like,
Out of the 4, yeah. Are you a BE? Are you the one where he defends us from the aliens?
I truly think it's none of those theories. Personally.
Shut up.
Although I've never.
An article.
Welcome to our new segment. This is Indie Game Corner with your host, me.
It's Isaiah.
It's Isaiah
host.
if you didn't know. So this month we're going to talk about one of my favorite indie games I've been playing recently, Enter the Gungeon.
Into the Gungeon?
Enter the Gungeon. So this game is a roguelike dungeon crawler where you clear multiple levels of like a bullet hell escape. I was shown this game by a couple of our friends from Bowling Green, Ian and Ben and Sergey all showed it to me. The game is currently $15. I've spent over 120 hours but between 2 different consoles, so I've spent $30 on the game and 120 hours. So the way the game works is no 2 dungeons are alike, and every time you go into the dungeon, you have an opportunity to unlock new items for you to acquire the next time you're in the dungeon. This is what a roguelike is most of the time. So you'll go in, and at the beginning, you'll have some pretty basic guns, like a shotgun, a crossbow, stuff like that. But then you start to meet NPCs who unlock guns, like there's a gun called the microtransaction gun, which there's money in the game, and the more money that you have, the more damage the gun does. There is a gun called the alien engine, where you have an alien engine and it just pushes you backwards and you fly around in the flames out of the engine to damage to people. There's a baseball bat, you can hit bullets back at people. The game is crazy hard sometimes. But they actually recently, this is why they're in the Indie Game Corner, had an update come out. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons is what it's called.
That's so cool.
And it adds a whole bunch of new items and loot and enemies. But yeah, definitely something you should check out. I mean, you two have the opportunity to play it at any time because it's on my Switch, and I bring my Switch everywhere I go. So if you ever want to check it out.
Whoa. You're telling me this whole time you've had a Switch on you at all times, and I didn't
Yeah.
know about. Okay.
We've
Switch.
covered this before.
I have a Switch, yeah. I have a Switch on me now. I had the Switch in my car on Saturday.
Well, shit. Okay, and then secondly, so what systems is it on besides the Switch?
It is on... I know for a
PC.
fact it's on PC, Switch. I definitely
PS4.
know it's on PS4. I don't know if it's on Xbox or not, but I probably assume
I
so.
would be shocked if it wasn't.
And how do you purchase it? Like, obviously on PC, you can purchase it that way, but like...
It's like
for
if you
the
go to like
systems-
the PlayStation Store
Like the
or
arcade?
Steam.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's $15. You could get it. It's one of those games that has a tendency to go on sale. I mean, it's been out for a long time from what I remember.
It's a good
It just
game.
came out on the Switch.
What do you mean
This
it's played
year.
on
I played mainly on the PS4.
PS4? Yeah, I'll definitely buy that and play with you guys. Shit. Do you have PS4?
It's not like a real co-op
I have a
game
PS4.
though.
So there is co-op in the game, but it's mostly single player. But
Okay.
yeah, I've had, like I said, I've had a ton of fun playing it. I would play it. I could play a run, and it could take anywhere from like 5 minutes if I'm doing very poorly to like an hour if I'm doing like really well. But no two runs are the same, and some of the items will like synergize with other items. So, for example, there's a gun in the game called the Trash Cannon. It shoots very large trash bags that then explode into poison. And every time you get junk, which is an item you can get from not being able to open chests, it buffs the trash cannon to do more damage and stuff like that. And there's all sorts of different synergies in it. There's another good example is there's a gun in the game that is just a lowercase r because it kind of looks like a gun.
Yeah.
And if you pick up another item, when the gun normally shoots, it just says bullet. And if you pick up ghost bullets, it says boo and spooky. And like it changes, yeah, and it does extra damage. It's pretty cool though. I think that if you have the extra 15 or if you see it go on sale, that's definitely a pickup.
All right.
It's super cool, and if you ever want to play it and you see me, 90% of the time, I would say, maybe even 95% of the time, I have it with me.
See it, rent it, stream it.
Woo! Back-to-back segments.
Aw.
So, pretty excited to talk about some movies today. So, first one I want to talk about for See It, movie I saw this past weekend in the theaters, was Bo Burnham's 8th Grade. He directed and wrote the movie. For those unaware of who Bo Burnham is, he's a comedian, started out on YouTube. He became the youngest comedian to ever have a Comedy Central special right when he turned 18. I've seen him live twice, once with you guys at BG, and then I saw him again live a couple years later at the Playhouse Square downtown. So one of my favorite comedians. I've been watching him, since I was in 8th grade. So obviously,
He does a lot of
Oh,
musical
shit,
comedy.
since I was in 8th grade. Yeah, he does a lot of musical comedy, so he's really into theater, those types of things. So when I heard he was making a movie, I was really excited. So I went and checked it out. It's been out for about a month, but it's an indie movie made by A24, so it's kind of a limited release. It's been spreading slowly, so it's finally nationwide, and it has like a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes.
What percent?
Like a
99.
99%. So
Dang.
basically, the premise of the movie is you have the main character Kayla, who's an 8th grade girl. She has a week left of 8th grade, and it's essentially her just living that week of 8th grade. She really doesn't have any friends. The movie's all about that anxiety you feel trying to come out of your bubble. In middle school when everybody's going through puberty and
Man, I
those-
hated middle school.
Yeah, and she makes vlogs on her Mac and has a YouTube channel that nobody watches. Like at one point, it shows her like videos on her channel, and they're all like 1 view, no views, But she makes these things, and it kind of bridges the gaps between the scenes in the movie. So she'll have a vlog about confidence and being confident, and then it'll show a scene where she's trying to be confident with people.
Yeah.
And it's almost like in every situation, because you've been through that situation before. As a kid, you're like, oh no. You're like, oh, please don't.
Oh, please don't.
Like, just one example.
It's the worst feeling ever. You're just laying in bed and you're just like, wow, that thing I did 4 years ago.
Yeah, like, wow, what a cringy ass I was.
Yeah.
Well, like, just
Sleep
as
now.
an example, she gets invited to a pool party because her dad is friends with the girl's mom. They're not friends, the kids, but she forces her to invite the main character. So the main character goes to this pool party where kind of like the popular kids are and everything, and she's super, super shy. And just the way, like, the score of the movie, you know, the way it's shot, the tension is just so when she's walking in the house. Like, you think of a scene like, oh, it's just an 8th grade girl going to a pool party, like, but it's like, why is it the most tense scene I've seen in a movie all year? Like, my heart was racing. Because you know how terrible it is, having to talk to people for the first time that you don't know, things like that. And even throughout the movie, as things go well for her and she starts to come out of her shell more, you're still just waiting because you're like, I know something terrible is going to happen. Because it's like, when you're a kid, nothing ever goes well.
Grade, everything goes wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's a really cool movie. There's a lot of commentary in there about anxiety. Bo Burnham has come out and said he deals with anxiety. He's dealt with it really his whole life. The main character in the movie talks about her anxiety, and she doesn't call it anxiety because she doesn't know what it is, but she talks about how she feels. And she compares it to, she feels like she's always waiting in line for a roller coaster, that nervousness you have before, but she never gets the feeling of after the roller coaster. You know, when you feel great, you're always on that constant edge before the roller coaster. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to that when they're going through, you know, that time in their life. So I definitely recommend it. Something cool that they're doing, the movie has an R rating only because of language, because all the kids are swearing. You know, they wanted it to be real. We all fucking swore in 8th grade. We thought we were so cool. You know?
We swore in 5th grade.
But this Wednesday, every state in the country has one theater where they're having free screenings where the R rating does not apply. So any age can go see it for free this Wednesday, which I thought was really cool.
You can do that?
Yeah, so the episode that... Yeah, I don't know how.
I don't know.
But, so the day that this
is the Wild West, I guess.
Lots changed.
Yeah, how'd they get that permission? I don't know. But, so I definitely recommend, definitely checking out that movie.
I'm going on Wednesday, then. Just kidding, I'll pay for it.
Yeah, and even if you don't check it out in the theater, even if you don't see it in the theater, definitely rent it when it comes out. Speaking of renting it, Ready Player One came out on Blu-ray a couple weeks ago.
Oh, shit.
I talked about this movie in our very, very first trial episode a little bit. But there's a lot of people that don't really like this movie. And so I got it on Blu-ray and I watched it again. And I still really love it. I think it's awesome.
Prove
so
them wrong.
So if you didn't see Ready Player One in theaters, definitely check it out. Rent it, see if you like it, because I think it's either you really, really love it or you really, really hate it type of things. And then for stream it, this isn't a new movie, but it just got added to Netflix last week. It's called Her. It came out a few years ago, and it stars Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. Have either of you seen the movie or know about it?
I know what it is. I haven't seen it, though. Isn't that the movie where the guy falls in love with his computer?
Yeah. So kind of. So have you heard anything about it, Isaiah?
Nope, but I definitely should.
She's like an AI in a sense.
Yeah.
And he starts to develop feelings for her, and it starts.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, this movie came out I think 5 or 6 years ago. It's a little bit older. Yeah,
it takes place in the near future where someone creates this operating system, kind of like a Siri or whatever, but highly, highly intelligent. And Joaquin Phoenix just got a divorce, so he's lonely, and he gets it, and starts off as a friendship, and she actually helps him go on dates and stuff like that in the movie. The voice is by Scarlett Johansson, and then eventually
I would fall in love with it.
Eventually they fall in love, and it's really interesting the way that the movie goes. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I would just say go on Netflix and watch it. Because
do you think he picked Scarlett Johansson's voice for it, or just happened to be that?
It just happened.
I don't think that's.
Could you imagine if he could pick Austin Powers' voice instead?
See, when I first heard about this movie thing, I was like, this sounds like I imagine what happened to Master Chief in Halo with Cortana.
Oh no, you're right. No.
But I totally do not doubt. I totally don't doubt that if something like that did eventually get created in real life, that thousands, if not millions, of people would do the same thing.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw an article a few days ago that was you see these all the time, so I don't know how accurate they are, but they're scientists, now say we will be having sex with robots within the next 10 years.
I mean, there's already people that are
already
I'm in love with trees.
Robots.
Yeah, I guess
there
that
are people
too.
already having sex with robots.
And probably having sex with trees too.
So definitely check out Her if you haven't seen it. Above all the gimmicks and everything, it's a really, really good movie too. So, and it's fucking weird as hell. So check that out.
Yeah, I probably have to check that out. I haven't booted up Netflix in a fat minute, so
I'm about halfway through watching Parks and Rec for the second time. So I just started season 5. I gotta just push out the rest of it.
I can't get into it.
I don't know how people can watch series multiple times. It blows my mind.
I can watch How I Met Your Mother as many times and
Brad and Zach have watched How I Met Your Mother millions of times.
I've at least watched it 12 full times.
12?
At least.
12 full
Okay,
times.
so literally from when it's been created to where every time a new season has come out, I've rewatched the entire season. Okay. And then I've at least, like, all the seasons prior for that. And then since the final season's come out, I've at least for sure guaranteed watched it 3 full times through.
People always watch How I Met Your Mother, Parks and Rec, and The Office multiple times, and then they quote it to me, and I'm like, even if I had watched it one time, I'm not going to get the quote.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's with any show, I mean, you have to...
It's like...
Would you rewatch Rick and Morty?
We're not going to talk about it.
You just got to find the show.
Would you or have I? Because both are true.
I've done both.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think it's all about, like you said, whether you can get into the show or not. But
I guess it's one of those movies, not movies, but TV shows for me that's like, someone's like, it doesn't even have to be the fact that's like, oh, I haven't seen How I Met Your Mother, because I would then immediately sit you down and watch it with you. But they could be like, I don't remember that episode. I'll be like, cool, pull up a seat. We're going to watch that episode right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is why we never get anything done, because I haven't seen that episode is my go-to response. And I always end up seeing the episode and then forgetting the very next day.
Yeah. And you realize that like 4 seconds after you say it, and you're just like, fuck no. And you're like, nope, it's on.
Nope, it's on now.
Yeah.
Can't turn
exactly.
it off.
And then it's like the episodes just keep coming, you know?
You just keep rolling.
Because originally we had no plans to rewatch Parks and Rec, but we were just looking through Netflix one day, and I just put on a random episode because I'm like, let's just throw on Parks and Rec while we're cleaning or something. And I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking hilarious. And I started watching.
I can't get into Parks and Rec. It's
not for everybody. I hated Aziz Ansari before watching the show.
Whoa,
and
chill with those words.
Yeah, and now, but after watching the show, I'm like, I get it. and I love everything he does, So it's like,
I get it. So this week we decided to talk about, I guess we're talking about gaming IPs that we wish never went away or wish we could revive. And I've got my top 3. But I think I'll go last. What were some that you guys thought of?
So this one's going to be kind of a weird one. But, so I've never really been into racing games.
Yeah.
Like, what's the really popular one? Gran Turismo, I think.
And Forza.
Yeah, I haven't been super into, realistic racing games. But one game that I really, really loved was called Burnout.
I loved it.
Yeah.
We used to play Burnout.
Yeah, especially Burnout Revenge, I think it was called. Where the great thing about Burnout was... It wasn't just a race. The goal of the race was to fuck other people up.
Yeah.
To fucking you get huge points. You'd smash them into walls and be like, burn out, and they fucking explode.
Yeah.
I loved that game so much, and I don't think they make them anymore. I mean, I looked it up. Yeah, I looked it up, and I can't.
Do they even
Paradise
make Need
was the
for
last
Speed
one.
anymore?
They recently remade Need for Speed, and it didn't do very well.
Okay.
I bought it, and it was not good.
Because I think a lot of racing games can kind of just mush together. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, do you like racing? But I thought Burnout definitely stuck out of the pack for me. So
yeah, I definitely put something different into the game.
Yeah.
I actively remember playing. They had a mode where you would just try to do the most destruction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally remember that. Yeah. I would love to have a new with the next gen graphics and everything, and I think that would be great.
The graphics on the old ones look pretty good for where they are at.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I really hope they somehow bring back the Resistance series that they started when the PS3 came out with the aliens. Instead of like fighting the Nazis, it was like America versus aliens in World War II.
Yeah, I remember playing it very briefly, but then getting confused because I didn't know who the enemy in Killzone was, so I thought Resistance and Killzone were the same game because I was a 360 person, and I was like, "Fuck you, we got Gears of War."
Look at where they're at now.
So I never played it. So just describe a little bit to me, like what it was like.
So it was pretty much like a Call of Duty or Medal of Honor type game, like first person shooter, war type game, World War II-esque weapons and everything. But something happened. Pretty much aliens came, and instead of fighting the Nazis in World War II, you're fighting them.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember the exact story, unfortunately. They had like 3 games that spanned across the PS3. The last one might have even went into the PS4 at one point in time.
I don't know.
Maybe. There's a slim chance. But yeah, that was pretty much this game, and you just went throughout it. I can't remember any of the story really, but I just remember I loved those games.
Did you ever play the arcade cabinet Area 51 where it was like you shot at the screen?
Yeah, I'm sure I have. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a super fleshed out version of that.
Yeah.
It was cool. From what I
liked it.
remember, it was cool.
I don't think it'll be revived, but truthfully, Zach wishes it.
There are a million games I would put out there that I wish that would get revived, and some are teased to be revived. For example, Bad Company is teased or rumored to be coming back,
That
and I
would be
would
dope.
be so happy if it did. But I think that my top 3 started from the bottom.
Now we here.
Number 3, I would go the Jack and Daxter series. I think that it deserves a reboot. I loved those games.
Or at least a remake.
Yeah. Just running around doing crazy things. It was like, I felt like it was like a little bit more of a mature version of Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, that'd be fair.
Like
Yeah.
it was like for the age bracket above the people who
Yeah,
would be
like,
playing
like
Ratchet.
older teenagers. Like,
Yeah, and I loved that game for sure. I think it would do well in a reboot or a remake, but
I would like to see that. I wouldn't want a remake or a remaster or anything like that. I would like to just see a continuation, just a sequel, because it's like, I don't know. I just feel like with a game like that, I would rather see something new with that property. You know, kind of like the same with Ratchet and Clank. Although they're still making Ratchet and Clank games.
They remade Ratchet and Clank 1, but they did an interesting twist on it where it was like the game was centered around them shooting a movie about Ratchet and Clank 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So it was somewhat different,
it was
but not
yeah.
really at the same time.
Yeah.
Another one I had was Backyard Sports.
Oh
You guys remember those
my
games?
god!
So specifically for me,
Pablo Sanchez.
Pablo Sanchez, yeah. Baseball and football were the two big ones I played. I think the company still exists, and I think they made a mobile app a couple years ago for basketball, but fuck all that. I want a new football, basketball, baseball game with current athletes in the game.
Same graphics.
Yeah, the cartoonish graphic. I mean, brought up to today's age, but because I do have the PS2 version of Backyard Football, and it looks terrible. So brought up to today's version, but still the cartoony graphics have, you got a little Tom Brady, you got a little LeBron James, I think that those were always great.
That would be so cool.
Because I think with sports games, we've lost. There used to be so much variety. Like NFL Street was one, like Mike brought up on Twitter. Like NFL, NBA Street,
Dude,
all these
NFL
things.
Street used to be the shit. You used to run up the wall and like throw the ball to the end zone.
Exactly.
Game breaker.
Yeah, and then you had the little
Yeah,
game modes like Kill the Carrier and stuff in NFL Street, and you had NBA Street was really cool. But now it's like there's only Madden, and then for NBA there's EA
In 2K.
and 2K.
Is there even EA anymore? I thought it was just 2K.
No,
it's
EA
2K
came back.
and NBA Live.
Yeah, EA came back, but it's nowhere near like sales wise, up there.
2K is
with
just way
2K.
too popular.
And then baseball, I think, has the show or whatever,
Yeah,
which I've never
MLB.
played.
I've never been a huge
Yeah.
baseball video game person.
Yeah, neither have I. But it's like where's the arcade alternative? You know what I mean? Like I understand not wanting a competitor for like a simulation style, but it's like why not give us like an NFL Blitz, or like some type of alternative
What was
arcade
that
style?
football game down where it was like prisoners facing each other?
I think that was.
That was, I think, when they made NFL Blitz.
Yeah.
Like
Where you could like break their bodies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
but there was
newer one.
another name for it though.
I have no
my
idea.
god.
I got no
You're
idea.
not talking about backbreakers, are you?
No.
There was NFL Blitz the league, but yeah, I remember if you got injured, you could give them steroids on the sideline.
Yeah, so you could get back in.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I would love to see come back as more arcade varieties for sports games, definitely.
I think.
Blitz the League.
Yeah, that was
we
it.
were
Yeah,
just
Blitz the
talking
league.
about
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's insane to me, like you said, that there aren't any more of those like less serious like sports games. Because even like the Mario sports games, like we just got Mario Tennis again for the Switch, but like Mario Baseball was the fucking shit.
Yeah, I love Mario Baseball.
It's still the shit.
Yeah.
But like in Mario Strikers is probably one of my favorite soccer games ever to play. But yeah, it's weird that they don't have those arcade like sports games anymore. I would have to say that my number 2 on my list is BioShock. Dude, like I recently started playing BioShock Infinite again, and I was like, this one's pretty good. But from what I remember, 1 and 2 were super good.
1 is probably my favorite game of all times.
Wow.
2 was still good, but the first one was the best game.
I think that universe is amazing, and I think that they could do so many things with it.
And they picked the best time period for that too, like when technology was like just starting to come up, so they had a lot of like leeway with how creative they could be with it, how to make it look.
And was Infinite the last release for it?
Infinite was the last release in the series, and that one went from under the ocean to up in the sky.
How long ago did that come out?
Oh, it's been since we were in high school.
Oh,
I don't
really?
remember
Okay.
when it was out. When did it come out?
The first one came out when
Infinite.
I was in middle.
Infinite.
When we were in college. That came out my freshman year of college, so 2012.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been
Or
a minute.
2013.
I think it was probably 12.
Okay.
But yeah, so I would love to see another BioShock game. I don't know, whatever. I don't even know if the studio that made it is around. I couldn't even tell you what the studio is that made it.
Interesting.
So my number one game that I would love to see be revived is the Sly Cooper series, dude.
Wow.
I love Sly Cooper. It's so good. It's so
It
good.
really is.
I just like, oh man. As soon as it was the first thing I thought about when people were like, "We're bringing back Spyro," and I was like, "All right, it's only a few years till they bring back Sly. Just a few short years."
Yeah, because it came out in like the early 2000s, right? So it was a little bit after
the whole
after Spyro and Crash and everything. So I'm sure it's probably
That was the first game that I was like dedicated to get 100%
100%
completed.
completion.
Like, make sure I had to go get all those notes and those bottles. I had to
Yeah.
get all the coins. Like,
God damn, I love Sly Cooper.
was so
That's my
good.
next tattoo. I'm getting Sly Cooper tattoo. I got to.
Can
You
get
heard
the
it
right-
here
You already
first.
got it. You heard it here live, Hooligan Radio. I'm getting a Sly Cooper tattoo. I'm gonna schedule the appointment.
Get the raccoon eyes.
On my face.
Just the raccoon eyes.
oh god.
If they bring that game back, y'all won't see me till 100%.
Would you want to see a remaster or a sequel or a reboot, or what would you want to see?
There was a sequel, I'm pretty sure. I thought that there was a Sly Cooper 2 that didn't do super
There was a
hot.
couple sequels. I thought they had
Yeah.
3 sequels
They
or
mi-
something like that.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
3 games, 2 sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but probably... I don't actively remember what happened in the first game since it's been so long, so if they remake it,
Yeah.
it would be like nostalgic and it would start jarring my memory as I played it, and then
Yeah.
I would be interested. And plus, normally when they remake games, they add a little bit here and there, so that would be really cool. Either way, I would be happy because I haven't got to play a game like that. It was like a stealth game, but it wasn't like a super serious stealth game like the Splinter Cell series. And I don't know. I'm so good. I'm seriously about to get this tattoo. Like,
So,
We'll post it.
one other one I wanted to bring up because I looked it up in research for this was the Guitar Hero franchise or Rock Band, either or, because that was so big like 10 years ago, and I guess 3 years ago they did release a new game,
Yeah,
Guitar
and
Hero Live,
I
and nobody
owned it.
bought it apparently.
I owned it, dog. It was
remember
bad.
playing
It was bad?
It was bad. It was like there's only so much you could do with the Guitar Hero series, and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to get everybody's songs.
Yeah.
You're not going to get everybody the songs that everybody wants, and not everybody's going to want to pay $2 per song to buy new songs.
Mm-hmm.
So I get where they're coming from.
I could never imagine rebuying it. I think since the fact you had Live, it was pretty much just like we can purchase the songs we want to play through him, and we can just play whenever we want.
Yeah.
It is kind of one of those games where it's like, okay, one friend has it and you go play it at his house.
Exactly. It's
You don't
not like
need it.
it's not like you are gonna play online with it.
Yeah,
Cross-platform.
and I think also too how commercially it's in like every mall, arcade. It's in Dave and Buster's. Yeah, like I'll play it at Dave and Buster's, and I have that quick feeling of nostalgia, like, oh man, I wish I still had this at home. And then it's like, how much would I really play it?
I'm playing it now.
I will never forget playing Rock Band in Gilder's basement, dude. That was
oh shit, I was there.
I had
the best freaking stage presence I've ever seen.
Yeah, dude.
Playing Rock Band.
I want to get him on this show. And one day you're gonna meet our very old friend. His name's Gilder. He's the man.
But yeah,
He is the man.
speaking of what you're saying though about Rock Band, because Guitar Hero 2 I felt like was like really popular, and then Rock Band was like, nothing at that time could beat, having 3 of your friends over. You got drums, bass,
Yeah,
guitar, and
man.
vocals. Like,
Yeah,
like
man.
that shit was awesome.
Yeah, the full group just going ham.
Yeah.
It was a good night.
Dude, wow. Actually, there's an interesting game that has come out recently for VR called Beat Saber. You may have seen videos of it. super cool rhythmic game, kind of like the Guitar Heroes, where it's a VR game and there's like blocks and each of your hands is like a lightsaber and you have to cut the colored blocks with the lightsaber to the beats of these songs.
Oh, that's cool.
And you can get these songs for free. People like will make the beat maps, that's what they're called, and put them online, and you could download them. And one of our buddies that Zach and I play video games with was showing me a video of like one of those songs that he plays, and I guess it's like a hardcore workout because like not only do you have to like swing your arms and hit the different like blocks, but you have to like move out of the way of these walls that come. So like you have to tilt your head so that you don't get hit by these walls. But it looks super cool, and I think that if that was like an option to play at like Good Dave and Buster's or some shit, people would get hella into it. And I think it probably will be in the future.
Remember when the video game thought they could like make us active again and like with the Wii and like
And then we all played Wii tennis from our couch.
Yeah.
I remember playing the
I hope
Wii.
that
I remember
does.
it playing the Wii and it would pop up and be like, "Whoa there, you've been playing 60 minutes. Do you want to go outside?" And be like, "No."
No.
But speaking of real quick, last time I went to Dave & Buster's, they have a VR there now. You pay. It's not part of like your normal game card. You have to pay $5 to use it.
Yeah.
And it's like a Jurassic World VR. So
Oh, yeah.
It was my first like experience actually using a VR. Like you get in like this what's supposed to be a Jeep and you put on the VR and you're like driving around the island and you're supposed to catch dinosaurs and shit. And like, can we just talk for a minute about how awesome VR is? Like, have you guys used VR at all?
Yeah. The first time I used it, I was pissed drunk. And
It was insane.
And my friend Corey's like, "You need to check out this Resident Evil
Oh God.
pre-game thing," because it was like right when the VR for the PS4 came out, and it had a bunch of like game demos and everything, and it had one for the Resident Evil. I actually don't remember a whole lot of this except besides watching the video. But he just puts it on me, and it's like watching the screen, and stuff's just going nuts, and I'm freaking out.
Yeah, I was there. Zach was borderline blacked out and screaming, laying on the ground because he couldn't most scary games, you just look away from the screen. Zach didn't get the concept that there was the screen just on his eyes.
So I was there.
Corey and I are just standing in the living room, geeked, because Zach is screaming on the floor, and we're all drunk. Just like, oh my god.
So actually, before we go on my topic, another game that I thought we should bring up that needs to come back from the dead, no pun intended, is Left 4 Dead 2. Or Left 4 Dead in general.
I could not agree more. Left 4 Dead was so fun, dude. God damn it.
Like, just remake it. I just want to play it again.
Yeah. I mean, you can still play it, but
I want to make it a little bit better.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was... once they had the multiplayer where you could beat the zombies, that was in Left 4 Dead 2, I'm pretty
yes.
sure.
I mean,
That was a good time.
when you could have start modding the game and Shrek was like coming at you.
That's what happens when things go on Steam, dog.
That's when I was like, this is the pinnacle. It will not get better than this moment right here.
Oh, when games go to Steam, they turn into memes. That's literally.
I love
Skyrim
every
went to
second.
Steam, and people found out that you could spawn 1,000,000 cheese wheels and kill dragons with them rolling down a
You
hill.
could face aircraft carriers as your dragon.
Yeah. Yeah, but I agree. I think Left 4 Dead should be totally brought back. Because I know I have 4 people that we would play it every night.
Yeah. So actually, continuing off that, when I heard that the theme for this week was going to be like things coming back from the dead, I instantly thought of like undead zombie sort of thing.
Yeah,
So like fit this in here. So that's what we'll talk about a little bit today. I'm pretty sure we all know what a zombie is. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I think we've all played in video games at
Yeah.
least.
Dude.
But so first, I guess we'll just go over a little bit of like a brief history of it, or like when it first started coming an idea. Which actually, I never knew this, but the ancient Greeks was like the first civilization to like have the idea of a zombie, or at least be terrified of the undead.
That the dead would come back to kill them.
Exactly. Our archaeologists have like unearthed very many graves that have skeletons in them, but have been like pinned down by like rocks or like cages in that time, so they couldn't come back to get them afterwards.
Yeah. I'd be fucked up about that too. Dog.
Like, you really think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, especially
Yeah.
back then when you really don't have any knowledge of like how anything works, like how the world works or life works. Like,
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you think that could happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's even like references to bodies being reanimated, being resurrected in the Bible.
So when you think zombie, what do you think? Do you think more like Walker, like, are we talking Left 4 Dead, where there's like multiple different brands of zombie. We're talking The Walking Dead, where they're all kind of like slow, but they could overwhelm you. We're talking World War Z, where like they could just climb a wall by sheer numbers. What do you picture when you picture zombies, Zach?
I guess I think it's really all based on what you think the most realistic way of a zombie coming to life sort of thing. But I guess, in my opinion, it would be closer to like the World War Z type thing. I don't know if it would be as fast, but like that sort of hive mind mentality. And World War Z's too fast.
Yeah.
Some of these other ones are a little bit too slow. I think there's
Like
honestly a
Walking
happy
Dead,
medium in this, like a steady brisk walk or something like that. But that
Like
hive mind,
like the ladies in the mall, if you go too early in the morning walk.
yeah, that are like holding the little wristbands and everything.
That would suck.
I mean, another big part of this, and to the history of it, is like voodoo magic and how like the zombie and voodoo
Yeah,
come
the
in with
American
that.
government is voodoo magic.
Ooh. So I actually found out like voodoo like originated in like West Africa, went over to Haiti, the Caribbean, Brazil, South America, all of that. But I guess that actually like a voodoo practitioner is known as a boker.
A bokar? Yeah,
A bokar?
I've heard that term before, yeah.
And pretty much what a bokar does is they use herbs, shellfish, animal parts, bones, a bunch of different things. And they make these zombie powders, which also contain tetrodotoxin.
Is that bath salts?
Maybe. It's a deadly neurotoxin found in pufferfish and some other marine species.
Yeah.
And pretty much just what it does is, if it's used carefully, the combination of all this can cause like a zombie-like symptoms, difficulty walking, mental confusion, respiratory problems. High doses can even lead to like paralysis, coma, which some people think this is how someone could appear dead and then be buried alive and then later be revived just because their body's not showing any of those symptoms. So it's sort of that drug thing.
Yeah. I brought up bath salts earlier because we were told that one time in Florida that guy who tried to eat people was on bath salts.
Well, that was like a thing for a while.
I thought he was on bath salts.
Yeah, it wasn't just
it
that
just
guy.
wasn't him. It's one of those things where someone's like, oh, that's a drug, I should try that.
It was like, I think like 3 or 4 people around the same time. Like that guy was first, and then there were like 3 or 4 people who all ate bath salts and like tried to fucking eat people and shit.
Yeah.
But that's because they're tripping balls.
Nah, dude, that's a government conspiracy. Mainstream media was told to tell us that they were on bath salts, but the U.S. government has a way to turn people into zombies.
Oh, God.
Oh,
telling
are we
you
getting
right
into this now?
I'm telling you right now, Hooligan Radio listeners.
Speaking of the voodoo stuff, though, well, you can go ahead and finish your bit.
But this isn't a bit. This is a warning. If you need shelter during the zombie apocalypse, go to Zach's house. I'll meet you in the brown door above his garage.
Else, I think that a parasite is probably the most realistic thing, you know. Because if something takes over your brain and you have no control, I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you.
Like, think of the episode of SpongeBob where Plankton takes over his brain.
Yeah. What if they just get 1 million planktons? Then they got 1 million.
So why are you so convinced that it's the government?
I'm telling
what would
you.
This is what I don't get about this
We've
theory.
played Resident Evil too much not to first assume that.
But what would they gain from this? Turning people into zombies?
Okay, so there's this thing. It's called the Georgia Guidestone.
Damn it.
Under it, there's a capsule. We're gonna open the capsule. It's gonna turn us into zombies. When you're a zombie, you need less resources.
Oh, okay.
So the government's gonna do it to kill all of us. Trust me, bro. I'll give you the red pill later.
I imagine they were using it as some sort of like biological weapon because of course we would do that as the U.S.
But it's like, why would they want to turn, unless like it was meant to just kill our enemy, but then it turns
That's
our
the
enemy,
point.
and then it just turns our enemy into zombies instead.
I mean, it's like they could just throw, like, say they make a powder of it and throw it over a city, and they're like, all right, we can successfully go invade this city because half these people don't know where they're at right now.
Yeah, that could be true. I don't know, man. I just think that it's really weird that there was that concentration of 4 people who did bath salts and were like, we want to eat people now. And then all of a sudden
they were all in Florida, and that's a pretty Florida thing to do. You just try new things till you find your high.
So let's say it happens, right? Let's say we do have a zombie.
We go to Zach's house.
We have a zombie apocalypse, right?
All right, we're going over our plan, listeners.
Like, let's say it's not completely like after apocalypse yet. This has just started. You hear there's a zombie outbreak, and it's like confirmed by the government. They're like, this is fucking real. Like, what is your first course of action? Because in every zombie movie, I feel like they're always trying to get to some safe destination, and it's like nowhere's safe. Like the world's fucked up.
Well, yeah.
I think I would try to team up with as many people as
Zach,
I
I
can
would try
and
to
gain
team up with Zach.
resources.
I would go to Zach's house. First step is always go to Zach.
And you're only getting in if you bring in resources.
Yeah, well, I'm not bringing any resources.
It's okay, Sandy will still let you in.
I plan to get to Zach's house before he's finished watching the broadcast.
Yeah. Hey, Zach, I'm here. Watch the news.
I think that, because it's going to happen, there's going to be a zombie apocalypse. I promise.
You think that's the most realistic apocalypse?
No, I think the most realistic is a nuclear winter.
Yeah.
But past that, I think is a zombie apocalypse. This is another Isaiah prophecy. Catch you in 10 years when it happens.
Jesus. Which one, the nuclear winter or the zombie?
I don't know, dude, because it's like, sometimes you're like, oh, but like zombies can't swim. So like I would just go to an island, but then they're dead, so they could just walk through the ocean.
That's one thing that I understood. I would... And I feel like at least some show how to do this, but like if there were zombie humans, I imagine there were zombie other creatures as well. Yeah.
That's the worst part, dude. Zombie babies would be the worst.
I could not kill a zombie dog. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, dude. When Will Smith has to snap his dog's neck, nah, not cool.
I cried.
Not into that.
I still cry.
Yeah, dude. If Nova was a zombie, I'd probably be a zombie too.
Just eat
Rip.
me.
All right, Zach, you got to take care of my dog so she doesn't turn into a zombie. I don't know why I think Zach's not going to become a zombie, but
You have a lot of confidence.
I got a lot of confidence in Zach's zombie reaction plan. But all I'm saying is, zombies are going to happen for sure. All right, guys. Well, that's been Hooligan Radio. We'd like to offer a special thanks for the use of our theme song, Blanket Forts, to American Spirits. I know you guys are listening because you're some of our biggest fans.
Thank you.
We also like to tell you about the zombie plan. Remember Zach's house.
The door.
You can find me on Twitter at PHP_Islaya. That YouTube thing I talked about last episode should be getting up here pretty soon. Also, there's a video of me getting Spartan kicked into a pool from the Beer Olympics. You should go out and like that, share it, do whatever.
Oh, is that a thing that happened?
Yeah, you didn't see your brother post it?
No, I didn't.
They reenacted the scene from 300.
From 300, it was sweet.
But instead of Persians?
Yeah,
we were Russians.
We were Russians.
I will look that up.
And you can find me at ZachC_I_know_it on Twitter. Nothing else really social media wise, because not a big fan.
Find me at _JoshuaSing_ on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on YouTube at Joshua Sing Reviews, where I talk about movies. And you can find Hooligan Radio on YouTube. If you're listening to us on iTunes, go check us out on YouTube. Subscribe there, comment there.
We are also now on Google Podcasts as well. So for those of you who do not use iTunes, you can go and find us there.
What's crazy is what you just described at Dave & Buster's.
Mm-hmm.
If you just reskin the game you were just talking about and made it Pokemon, it would be VR Pokemon Snap, and that would be 100% a reason for me to buy a VR headset. Because if they were like, here's Pokemon Snap with all of the Pokemon from the whole universe, I'd be like, I'll never see outside again. Sorry, guys. I gotta get a picture of every Pokemon.
No, they actually need to bring back Digimon.
No, shut up.
They need to. That was a great deserved moment.
I'm not